The first flashlight stopped moving the second I pointed mine at it. It had been weaving slowly through the trees about 100 yards below the ridge, white beam cutting through the dark like someone was searching for something. Then another light appeared beside it, then a third, all of them moving between the pines in a line that looked exactly like a search team grid. The problem was, I had personally watched the last search crew leave that mountain almost an hour earlier. I knew because I was the one who locked the access gate behind them. I stood there in the cold with my hand tightening around the radio, watching those lights sweep back and forth through the forest below me. And before I could say a word, my radio cried on my chest, and a voice whispered, "Why did you come back?" It was my own voice, and it was coming from somewhere down there with the lights. My name is Ryan Mercer. I was 34 that winter, working overnight fire watch and lost hiker response just outside the eastern edge of Rocky Mountain National Park. Most people think national parks shut down when the sun goes down. They don't. Somebody still has to monitor trail cameras, check locked roads, answer emergency calls, and make sure tourists who ignore warning signs don't disappear into the dark. Usually, the night shifts were quiet, cold, lonely, long hours, staring at trees that all looked the same after midnight. But every ranger I ever worked with had one story they never told in the office, something they only talked about after a few drinks, something in the woods that made no sense. I never believed any of them until that night. It started with a missing teenager from Denver, 17 years old, went off trail before sunset. His parents called it in around 7. By 8:30 we had 2 volunteer teams, thermal drones, and a dozen people combing the lower trails. By midnight, snow started coming in hard enough that command called a search until morning. I remember watching the last team load gear into their trucks while the storm rolled over the ridgeline. Everyone was exhausted. Everyone wanted out. I signed the closure log, locked the chain gate across the service road, and drove back up to the old observation station to finish my shift alone. The station sat on a ridge above the lower forest, an old one-room building with dusty windows, a weather monitor, and 4 CCTV screens connected to trail cameras scattered across the park. It wasn't much, but it gave me a clear view of the valley below. Around 1:13 in the morning, I saw the first flashlight, just one beam, moving through the trees where nobody should have been. At first I thought one of the volunteers had gone back out. It happens sometimes. Family cases got under people's skin, but then a second beam appeared 20 yards to the left, then another. 3 lights moving in a perfect slow sweep, side to side, advancing uphill. Exactly like a search pattern. My first thought was that command had restarted the operation without telling me. My second thought was worse. The lights were moving in complete silence. No voices, no crunching snow, no radios, just white beams drifting between black trees. I grabbed my radio. "Base, this is Mercer at Ridge Station. I have visual on 3 lights in Sector 4. Did another team go back out?" Static. Then dispatch answered, "Negative. All teams cleared 48 minutes ago." I kept staring at the monitor. "Then somebody's in the forest." There was a pause. "Can you confirm hikers?" I leaned closer to the screen. The lights stopped all at once, like whoever was holding them had heard me. "Mercer?" dispatch asked. I looked out the real window instead of the monitor and felt my stomach drop. The lights weren't only on the screen anymore. They were actually down there. 3 white beams weaving through the trees below my station. "I can see them from the ridge," I whispered. Dispatch stayed quiet for a second. "Stay inside." I almost laughed at that because the old station door barely locked and the walls were thin enough to hear wind through. But I slid the bolt anyway. Then I noticed something worse. One of the CCTV screens showed the front of the station. Snow. Empty porch. Closed door. But standing beside the window was a man in a ranger jacket looking inside. I spun around so fast the chair tipped over. The porch outside was empty. I looked back at the screen. Empty there too. I told myself it was lag, a camera glitch, snow interference, anything that sounded sane. Then the weather radio on the shelf clicked on by itself. Not static, not weather. Breathing. Slow. Close. Like someone holding the mic too near their mouth. "Dispatch," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I think someone is near the station." "We're sending county patrol," she said. 25 minutes out. 25 minutes might as well have been sunrise. I kept watching the tree line. The flashlights disappeared for almost a full minute. Then all three came on again, much closer this time, halfway up the hill, moving toward the station, still in that same perfect line. And then it happened again. My radio clicked. My own voice came through, calm, clear. "I found him." I couldn't breathe for a second. "Dispatch, did you hear that?" "Hear what?" she asked. My voice. Silence. Mercer. Nobody transmitted. I stared at the radio in my hand like it had burned me. Then one of the outside motion lights snapped on over the station porch. Something had walked under it. I checked the monitor. No one there. Just the light swaying in the snow. Then the second camera flickered. For half a second, every screen in the room showed the same image. Me sitting at the desk. From behind, like someone was standing in the corner filming me. Then the feeds returned to normal. I slowly turned toward the dark corner behind me. Empty. Coat rack, storage cabinet, nothing else. But I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been standing there a second earlier. Outside, the flashlights stopped at the edge of the clearing. I could see them through the window now. 3 beams pointed directly at the station, not moving. Just aimed at me. Then one light lifted slowly until it shined straight at my face through the glass. I stumbled back. The bulb over the desk started flickering. Once, twice. Then it dimmed so low the room went yellow. My radio hissed again. "Ryan." My own voice. Softer this time. "Open the door." I dropped the radio onto the desk like it was alive. The station suddenly felt too small, too thin. Every window felt like a weak point. I grabbed the emergency flashlight from the wall and swept it outside. Nothing. No people. No footprints. Just snow. But the 3 beams were still there, floating in the dark between the trees where no one stood. That's when I noticed something worse. The search log on the desk had been closed all night. I knew that because I was the only one there. But now it was open to a blank page. And across the top, written in my handwriting, were 5 words. "You left me." Out here. My hands went numb. I had not touched that log. I backed away from the desk and hit the filing cabinet behind me. Something clattered to the floor. A photograph. Old. Creased. I picked it up with shaking fingers. It was a search team picture from years ago. 5 rangers standing in front of the same station in heavy snow. 4 of them I didn't recognize. The 5th was me. Same face, same jacket. Standing at the end of the line with a blank expression like I had been there the whole time. The date in the corner was from 1998. I was 8 years old in 1998. Then the knocking started. 3 slow taps. On the wall behind me, I froze. 3 more taps. This time from inside the storage closet. Then another 3 from directly under the floorboards beneath my boots. The lights outside suddenly moved again, circling the station now, white beams sliding across the windows. My radio screamed with static so loud I nearly dropped it, and through the noise I heard dispatch yelling my name. But underneath her voice, another voice was answering her at the same time. Mine. "He's still inside." I ran to the door before I even decided to. Something in me knew staying there was worse. I yanked the bolt back and threw the door open. Snow hit my face. The clearing outside was empty. No people, no footprints, no flashlights, just darkness. For 1 second I thought maybe panic had finally broken me. Then I looked down. Fresh boot prints circled the station in a perfect ring around the building. Every print was mine, same tread, same worn edge on the heel, same size. Like I had spent the last hour walking around the station while another version of me sat inside watching. I heard movement behind me in the room. Slow footsteps. I turned toward the open doorway and saw someone standing inside the station. Same jacket, same face, same flashlight in his hand. He looked exhausted, terrified, exactly the way I probably looked. And he said the same words I had heard over the radio all night. Why did you come back? I ran. I don't remember the trail down. I don't remember falling twice in the snow. I only remember hearing another set of boots behind me, matching every step I took. Never closer, never farther, just keeping pace in the dark. Townie Patrol found me on the access road at dawn, half frozen and babbling about lights in the trees. They searched the ridge station at first light. No footprints, no second person, no open logbook, nothing. They told me stress can do strange things in isolation. Lack of sleep, adrenaline, shock. I almost believed them. Until a week later, when I was cleaning mud off my boots at home and noticed packed snow still stuck in the tread. That shouldn't have been possible because the roads had been dry for 3 days. I scraped it out with a screwdriver and something small fell onto the floor. It was a battery. Cold, black, fresh. The kind used in a search flashlight, and carved into the side with a knife were 2 words in my handwriting. Still looking.